Please watch till the end. It will definitely add something new to your life. The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy. Had he and I but met by some old ancient inn, we should have sat us down to wed, right many an Iperkin. But ranged as infantry, and staring face to face, I shot at him as he at me, and killed him in his place. I shot him dead because he was my foe, just so. My foe of course he was, that's clear enough, although he thought he'd list, perhaps, offhand like, just as I was out of work, had sold his traps, no other reason, why. Yes, quaint and curious warriors. You shoot a fellow down you treat, if met where any bar is, or held to half a crown.
Overview. The poem was written in 1902 by Thomas Hardy. The poem dramatizes the battle scene between two men. Hardy tries to express the true feeling of a soldier who is staring and targeting at his enemy. He tries to make a sense about the insensibility and the harsh, bitter truth of war. The narrator didn't know the enemy whom he is targeting. He thought at him that if there wasn't a war they might have met in a pub for a beer, they would laugh at each other, they might have talked in loud voices to share their lifelong experiences. They might have sarcastically blamed to their wives about their craziness. And probably they would have become lifetime friends. The narrator feels it. Himself is worrying about the war. He is crying deep inside his heart. He should kill his enemy because it is the only thing he has been told. It is the only reason why he has been sent to this battlefield. He is helpless. He shot at him first without any sense. There are only two options: live or die. The death of his enemy is the only reason decides his life. The narrator thinks later that why he has killed that person. He somewhere tried to justify what he has done. He said it was the only thing he was asked to do. So he pulled his trigger out. This is happening again and again in the world. It is so cruel. Helpless people, families, fathers who have kids will sacrifice their lives. Why it is happening like that? The poor people who has no job joins the war. Because they are paid to kill. Power dominates the poor. This never-ending war can be happened anywhere in the world. It is a cycle. It occurs again and again as the weapon industry is considered as the topmost business in the world. Most tragically, innermost power distortion and economic distortion creates war. Outline of the poem, written by Thomas Hardy, year 1902, written to the response of Second Boer War, 1899 to 1902, physical conflict, killing a soldier, emotional conflict, guilty feeling, social conflict, criticism of war, bitter truth, and the dark areas of the war are being focused. All story built in 5 stanzas. Had he and I but met by some old ancient inn, we should have sat us down to wet right many an Iperkin. But ranged as infantry, and staring, face to face, I shot at him as he at me, and killed him in his place. Summary. Narrator and another person is the key role models. If they had met in a pub they would have enjoyed a glass of beer. But unfortunately they met at the battlefield. They are shooting face to face. And the narrator killed the enemy. He started with a quite positive, cheerful approach. Using an open and formal tone at the first stanza, the narrator shows the freedom and the joyful expectations he has. Had he and I but met this ab rhyming pattern sounding the joyful feeling he has. But the tone of the second stanza is quite harsh and precise, and harsh because he is not at the pub, he is at a battlefield. I shot at him dead. He expressed the angry, the blindness of this cruel, insensible war. The using of killed, shot and dead like words express the violence. It shows how awful the war is. He uses full stop at the end of the second stanza and trying to say that the chapter is closed, he has not made an emotional ending. That express us that the war kills off the emotions of the soldiers, just like our narrator. I shot him dead because he was my foe, just so. My foe, of course he was, that's clear enough, although, in this stanza, he tries to make him right about what he did. He feels guilty. His heart is paining. But he says, because he was my enemy, that is why I killed him. It is clear, however. He uses the word although to express the uncertainty and insensibility of war. He repeats it with a loud tone. He tries to justify what he did. He's struggling to find one good reason why he killed him. He tries to say that he did it because he was ordered to do that. He breaks the cheerful rhythm, which he used in the first stanza in all other stanzas. Because the war is a full of dark place, it is not cheerful. He thought he'd list, perhaps, offhand like, just as I was out of work had sold his traps, no other reason why. He purely condemns the war. It is something old-fashioned. He says that, most probably his enemy might have joined the war just like him with empty hands. That means no job to earn. No money to live.And no any other choice than joining to kill at the war. Then only he got paid. He tries to sarcastically condemn what the society, the high-power bureaucrats are doing to them. They use their poverty, helplessness to create and fight against war. This opens another social view that is created by war. Just as yes, quaint and curious war is. You shoot a fellow down you'd treat if met where any bar is, or help to half a crown. In final stanza, he again sarcastically splits off the bitterness of war by saying it is just to shoot an unknown man to death, when sometimes he would have become your friend if there was no war. And maybe would have helped him with a coin. By saying this, the narrator tries to leave us a question. What happened to humanity? The narrator starts the poem and ends the poem at the same place, which is the bar. It manifests the continuation of this cycle, which does not have an endpoint termination. Literary devices used in The Man He Killed. 1. Assonance. Repetition of the vowel sounds. O sound, you shoot a fellow down. 2. Alliteration. Repetition of the consonant sounds in same line. H sound, had he and I but met. 3. Symbolism. Using of symbols to express the feelings and senselessness of war. Poetic devices used in the poem The Man He Killed. 1. Rhyme scheme. Sounding rhyme scheme. 2. Quatrain. Using 5 stanzas of 4 lines.
You're going to feel it. Take a deep breath, stay calm. Reduce the sound only for your level. Try to come to the world just the narrator wants you to see.
The Man He Killed. Written by Thomas Hardy. Narrated by Jordan Harley. Had he and I but met by some old ancient inn, we should have sat us down to wet right many a nipperkin. But ranged as infantry, and staring face to face, I shot at him as he at me, and killed him in his place. I shot him dead because he was my foe. Just so. My foe, of course, he was. That's clear enough. Although he thought he'd list, perhaps, offhand like, just as I was out of work, had sold his traps. No other reason why. Yes, quaint and curious war is. You shoot a fellow down, you treat if met where any bar is, or help to half a crown.
Thank you very much for watching my video. I'm very happy if you got something new view to your life. Please subscribe my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to get new videos like this. Soon we will meet again with a new video.